Hey, what's up, guys? It's Adam here, and today I'm working on the Invoice app. It's Sunday, June 8th, 1:19 p.m. Just about to meet up with the fam. There, it's my father-in-law's birthday, so we're going to be meeting up in a little bit. They went outside. I had a morning appointment, so just before I head out, I wanted to work on my app a little bit to fix the invoice posting or the payment posting portion of this. So what I've been able to accomplish over the last couple of days was to, one, get the OCR functionality working, API, moving from Google Vision API to Document API, and some of the bugs that I found along the way. In this video, what you'll see is me working on the UI UX enhancements and also payment posting using voice and also manual entry. So the use case I'm thinking about here is I'm posting a payment that I make to a vendor. It could be a payment in full. Let's say it's $1,000 invoice for baking powder or flour, some sugar, some sauce, some syrup. And so I want to be able to pay that invoice using voice or manual entry. And this is all designed with really being very clean, minimal thumb. You could do this with your thumb, or one or two fingers. You could do this. So basically mobile device friendly, and it's really, the entire goal of the app is to feel really human. It's not to feel like accounting. For those of us that don't have the training in accounting, don't have the time to sit down on a computer, grab a paper, have a stack of invoices that you're going to be processing. I want to create a solution for you. Well, it's actually me as well. I've always realized it's such an important part of the business to be organized, but I know myself, and I'll tend to focus on the most important things for the business, or I'll just focus. Long story short, the accounting side, in my experience, has been the biggest struggle for me to improve, to stay organized. I've created systems and they've worked, and maybe it's one of those things where it's not about being 100%, but it's being about a high percentage of accuracy. But even that, there's always bills coming in. There's reconciling those things, making sure what you've paid from the bank is matched from the vendor invoice. And there's a lot of tools right now that are automated, like a Toast POS or all these others. I'm rambling on, but even though with all the technology we have today, I think that there is not a simple solution, a human solution, one that I don't need to be an accountant to be able to enter invoices to make sure what I paid is reconciled, it's matched, so my books are clean. I don't think we should have a team to do that kind of work. I want to be, I'm just using bakery as an example. It could be a bakery, nail shop, coffee shop, pizzeria, deli, mechanic shop, tire shop. It could be, we want to focus on our business. We want to focus on our customers. We want to focus on our marketing. Today we have 5 social media channels. So if it's Facebook, it's Instagram, it's TikTok, it's the live streams. There's a couple of those. It's at least 4, plus Twitter, which I don't think a lot of small businesses are using. But if you had that time to engage where your customers are, then you can grow your business. You can grow within your community. Small business is about community. It's not even small business. Small businesses actually, there's 30 million of them. I'm gonna ask this to ChatGPT in a sec, but I believe there's 30 million small businesses in the U.S., and that's a big business. That's a majority of value created are from these small businesses, or a tremendous amount of value is created. So if we small business owners, if us business owners, I'm not going to say small because we're putting ourselves in a bucket here. As a business owner, if you could spend more time, a half hour a day or 1 hour a week, right? Let's say 1 hour a week. If there's 52 weeks in the year, let's say you're working 35 of them, 40 of them, right? Most of us are working close to well, we get a couple weeks off a year, but even those few weeks, it's hard to unplug. But let's say we work 50 hours, 40 weeks of the year. That's 40 hours of additional time spent with your customers. That's an additional week per year you're spending with your customers. So my mission is to give back time to business owners. Myself, I've been a business owner. I grew up in small business. My dad owned a small business, a gas station, and a computer repair shop, and I grew up in those businesses. I was in those businesses from age 5 to through high school at least multiple days of the week, at least 3-4 days of the week, Sundays. But I enjoyed that, especially in the computer shop. It wasn't like I was put to work. It was like the late 90s, early 2000s, actually mid 90s to early 2000s. So basically from actually 92 to 2003, when I graduated high school, I was in small business. It was MS-DOS through Windows. I think I graduated, it was probably Windows XP at that point. But it was a cool time in tech, in the personal computer. I was at the end of fixing them and like servicing them. And so I know what it's like to run a small business. We bought products from a few local wholesalers. They were based in New Jersey. They were selling us like motherboards. They were selling us memory chips, cooler fans, like small accessories. And then there was some bigger wholesalers that sold, the computer casing, cooler fans, hardware, computer keyboards, monitors, that kind of stuff. So we worked with a network of, we probably had like 5 to 6 key suppliers. I think it was probably like 2 that were like the main ones, but we had a few that we went to for different type of stuff, like software, etc. So like, I know we get that package, the invoice comes in, we got to pay that invoice soon. Sometimes it was COD, sometimes it was like 30 days. And so like, I remember my dad's desk had stacks of paper. I would always clean his desk. I was like helping him with accounting. He had some employees over the years that would help with accounting, but I was a kid, and the chance I got, like once every like 6 months, I would try to clean the desk because it was just full of papers. My dad was not an accounting guy, although he likes to keep track of things. He didn't have the time. He was focusing on customers, focusing on his staff, where you should be focusing as a small business owner. You grow your company, but what I realize is as I'm older, is your financial acumen is very important to growing, to scaling your business. What I mean that is like just knowing how much money you owe, how much money you have in the bank, how much you have to pay, in this coming period, this next week, this next month, right? These are things that business owners have to spend time to think about, they worry about. Now, but what if we could empower these customers? And that's what I'm all about here. So this is a long rant. I don't know, I didn't mean to start this, but I'm really excited by that idea. Whether it's this tool that I'm building, there will be a tool that is going to help business owners with this. Powered by AI, we're going to empower businesses to be just smarter operators. I'm so excited for that. And there's multiple levels. If you just think through this sort of thought process, there's multiple sort of avenues of sort of supporting the business owner. Forecasting, cash flow management, bank financing. What if the bank now is like, oh shit, I can finance this company. You're eligible for a $200,000 loan. Well, if you had that gas station and you wanted to really renovate your store because your neighbor has just gotten a new store, you could do this and probably get a better interest rate. I'm sure there is a way and a path to do that today. I'm not saying that there isn't a path that is, but that path could be more efficient. It could be more efficient for the ecosystem. The bank benefits because now the bank has a track record of this business, and I'm getting a little outside of this app, but if accounting was easier for small business, the bank, now they have reporting, now the bank can see the creditworthiness of this customer. They can see their internal operation, they can see their sort of profit loss, all those things that you need to hire an accountant or a CPA to sort of look at and create for you. You can have this ready for your bank. That would be awesome. And I think that empowers us, and that empowers banks to, finance customers that could never otherwise have done so, and be able to have an audit trail or things to sort of look at to validate that the business that they're looking at is sound and is is creditworthy. So that was my rant, and I'm gonna continue to talk about this because the more I talk about it, the more excited I get, because I know it could solve a lot for business owners. So anyways, I'm jumping back in here. Let's get back into where we were at with our applicazione. All right, so what I wanted to do, I was having issues with one section here, which was posting payments. I want to post a payment to the vendor, and basically I created this voice pay option, so you can pay by just saying your voice. I paid PP Fila, that's probably the worst name to be testing this model with.
Ready to pay invoice for Fila. Please say the amount and payment method.
You say the amount and the payment method. So I'm saying the amount.
Ready to pay filler. Please say the amount and payment method.
Paying PP filler.
Ready to pay filler. Please say the amount and payment method.
PP filler, $4,000.
I didn't understand that. Please try again. Ready to pay filler. Please say the amount and payment method.
4,000.
Ready to pay filler. Please say the amount and payment method.
$4,000.
Whisper AI understood you. Ready to pay filler. Please say the amount and payment method.
$4,000. Check.
I didn't understand that. Please try again with just the amount and payment method.
The data being, it looks like the voice transcription is working, as we just saw there. It actually caught that, but it's not capturing the data. It's not able to store that and action the next step. So I'm going to try this one more time just to see what happens.
Ready to pay filler. Please say the amount and payment method.
$4,000.
Ready to pay filler. Please say the amount and payment method.
$4,000 cash.
Whisper AI understood you perfectly.
Woohoo! Awesome. So Whisper AI, by the way, we're making a call to Whisper AI, which is OpenAI, maker of ChatGPT, their model, their voice model, basically their voice transcription model. So it takes my voice, puts it into text, and then our system here translates that text or scans the text and then maps it to these fields. Supplier was already predetermined, so I had it code. If you're doing a direct payment on an invoice, I had it code it to auto select the supplier, but the amount is what I just said, and then the method is what I said. So here's what we're going to be testing: is how this sort of posts to the database and sort of the user experience and the work and the UI, making sure it's doable, simple, human as possible. So I'm confirming this payment. Boom. And we hit a little snag here. I confirmed and said failed to load invoices. To me, that's something related to mapping of invoice, maybe making a call to the database. So I'm going to just take this. I'm going to take this issue. I'm going to say here, I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to say, all right, so I was able to have the voice map with confidence the amount and the payment method. However, when I confirmed it, I got the attached error. For some reason, it looks like it's not able to look up the invoice. What sort of possible causes could there be to that? And to see what we need to do to make sure that the payment method links. Also, on a side note, I notice when I do the audio transcription, if I click it, I usually have to click it a couple times. Sometimes I click it, and if I don't say anything instantaneously, it turns off. Appreciate your help, and let me know your thoughts on how we could solve this or what potential avenues we could go through to solve this. Perfect. We got our text, and I'm going to go ahead and submit. Let's see what it comes back with. So, guys, right here, I am using Claude 4 Sonnet. I'm not sure if I should be using this. I think I could use 3.5, which uses less tokens. So I'm probably going to switch that in a little bit. I'm using the max model. I upgraded Cursor to have max just so I can have a larger context window. I just turned this on yesterday, so I'm still studying this. Obviously, we want to be efficient with our token usage because tokens cost money, and yeah, just want to figure out what the best sort of application of the model is, because we just want to be efficient in creating, finding the best solution, using the least amount of resources. It's usually a good idea to always kind of focus on that. More is not always better. This is something more of kind of like an engineering mindset, but it's just a good principle just to keep in mind. It's like, what's the best solution? Best means it's going to solve the problem and also do it in the lowest sort of cost way. Usually those two, there's other considerations, right? It's not just like always linear, but I think it's good to sort of have that. So here's what we got. So issue 1, failed to load invoice root cause analysis. That's a good prompt, by the way. Can we walk through the root cause analysis? A, missing invoice context. The payment confirmation is trying to load invoices, but doesn't have the right context. For invoice specific payments needs voice data dot supplier ID. Okay.
Ready to pay invoice for filler. Please say the amount and payment method.
The wrong field names. The voice data object past payment confirmation missing required fields. Okay. That's like the voice data object, the object that we're speaking, that's handling the voice.
Ready to pay invoice for Phila. Please say the amount and payment method.
I think it's triggering that because it's working on the code right now, as you can see. The bug in invoice, okay, so the problem, line 201 invoice payment.tsx. The bug in invoice mode, the code correctly sets supplier ID, invoice ID instead of the actual supplier ID. Ah, okay. When payment confirmation tries to query the invoice, uses the wrong supplier ID, it fails. Ah, okay, so in invoice mode, the code incorrectly sets supplier ID.
Ready to pay invoice for
ID
Phila.
instead of using the
Please say
actual.
the amount and payment method.
Cool, perfect. Now I can see
Ready to pay invoice for Phila. Please say the amount and payment method. Ready to pay invoice for Phila.
So
Please say the amount and payment method.
Ahead of us, but see these errors. So it's working through recognizing an error and then fixing the error. Issue number 2: voice recognition clicking problems. The speech recognition is stopping too quickly when users don't speak immediately. Let me fix this. Okay, so it's working through the voice recognition part. That's why we heard it in the background. So it's going to voice payment TSX, guys. These are the TSX. These are the files that store the code for the modules on the site. So we have, our dashboard. There's a debug. We created this one in a previous video. It helps us sort of with the debug log. It was actually made for a specific function. I'm not sure if it's still working, but yeah, I think for voice payment. I don't know where to find that. Is there a search here? Ah, there we go. Components. It's a component. And so it looks like it's working on it as we speak. It's working on that page. So I will not touch it right now. I'm going to go back to, while that's working, actually, I'll just talk about this. Supabase, that's our database. So for this project, we're using Supabase as a database. Kind of started the project here. And originally, we started this in bolt.new. So the project started on Bolt, which was a developer tool, and started this actually originally started here. Then I carried over to Cursor because Cursor connects with Claude. The main issue I kept getting stuck on the OCR functionality of our app. So I decided to just bring it to Claude to see if we can resolve it there. So I think, let me test these fixes by starting a development server. I'm just accepting the changes it's making. So fixed, both issues resolved. Failed to load invoice, root cause found, fixed. The problem, invoice mode, voice payment. TSX line change, supplier ID to invoice ID, cool. And then invoice issue 2 is voice recognition clicking problem, enhance UX. The problem, speech recognition was stopping too quickly, causing users to need multiple clicks. The fix, added startup delay 500 milliseconds buffer before voice prompts, 800 milliseconds before audio recording, better error handling, ignore common cancellation errors, aborted, no speech, visual feedback, new, starting up, state with orange animation. Cool, so it added an animation to the voice record, prevent double clicks, block new recognition while starting up. Okay, so it's not gonna allow you to double click it basically. That's smart. Interesting, I wasn't using a username password since we moved it to Cursor. Why is that back? Okay, cool. Thank you so much. But a quick question. The site now requires a username and password. Can you help me with determining why? Or could you remove the username and password for now on my account? It's recommending a quick sign up. Authentication disabled. Oh, okay, cool. So I've temporarily disabled. Now you can access the app directly. No login required. You go straight to the dashboard invoices. Important note: you might still get database error due to rolled out security policies. If you see database permission, you can temporarily disable those too. Yes, it does. Okay. All right. So I am getting issues. Can we revert back the authentication? Just my password though. I had created an account, but I'm not sure the password. How can I reset that or ensure that it's properly? Yeah. How can I reset that? Probably gotta go soon, guys. But this is kind of cool. Making some progress here. Re-enabling app. So you can see here, it just re-enabled it. Boom, boom, boom. Let's put on some music, right? Actually, I don't know if I'll get a copyright. So this is working. I should call my wife. Where are they? It's guys, it looks like it's going through and checking the entire sort of username login. So adding password reset functionality. Ah, cool. There's no reset functionality. Let me add that for you. I was actually just thinking about, we have this here, but we don't have we have sign up, but we don't have a password reset. So that would be great. So send a call to the database, send an email prompt or some sort of a verification that will allow us to reset our password. Good thinking. Okay. I have to accept these changes. Okay. Okay. So authentication re-enabled and password reset added. I've re-enabled authentication app network. You can now reset your password. Go there. Forgot your name. You check your email address. Send reset email. Check your emails. Follow the link. Password email. Use a super built-in password reset. Yes, because I was going to say I didn't set up any email in the database, or I haven't set anything up. So Supabase already has a password reset built in, which is awesome. So let's go ahead, guys, and let's test this. So as you can see here, we got now password resets, and I can just do this. Okay, cool. I am going to just command. All right, so I did do the password reset I got in my Supabase email. So I clicked here, error expired, but when I came here, I never got hey, I got the email from Supabase to reset my email. However, when I clicked the password reset, it just went to a blank screen, and I'll share the URL where it brought me to. Call you in 2 minutes. All right. So what does it say here? Okay. They said we set a password reset, direct to reset password, but we haven't created that page yet. So when you click the reset link, it redirects you there, but it finds a blank page. Let me create the missing password reset page for you. All right, there we go. That makes sense. Password reset page completed. All right, cool guys. So password reset page is created. Perfect. Let's see what it says. Perfect. I've created the missing password reset functionality. Now when you click the reset link from your email, you should see a proper password reset form instead of a blank page. What I've added, new password reset component. So it built out the page, basically the form, token validation from the email URL. Cool. Password strength requirements. So it sets minimum 6 characters. Password matching validation, success error handling with clear feedback, auto redirect to the login page after successful reset. Cool. Updated app routes. So we added reset password route that doesn't require authentication. We imported the new reset password component, proper Supabase integration. So it uses the Supabase integration. Okay, cool. How to reset your password now. You go back to blah, 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 blah. Click the reset password. I think we all know how to do a reset password reset, blah, blah, blah. So here we go. Cool. So it said it's sent. All right. So it should come back here. This is my email. This is our Supabase authorization. That's awesome that Supabase has its own password resets built in. I don't need to do much. New password. I am going to say enable autofill. Sure, Apple. Let's secure this. All right. So I am going to just write that here for now, and then I don't use notes for storing passwords. I would not recommend it at all. There we go. It's in my LastPass vaults. All right, so let's test this out. Guys, so this is what our invoice app so far. Our home screen, our welcome boss screen has scanning a new bill, viewing open bills. So you can use OCR here on your mobile device. You're just going to click open your camera. It's going to scan that document and translate that text into OCR. It's going to create an open bill, just like we see here. Once you got the open bill, now it's time to pay, right? So I almost want to do I created a manual option, which we haven't fully tested, but right now I want to go to
Ready to pay invoice for Phila. Please say the amount and payment method.
$4,000, check.
Ready to pay Phila. Please say the amount and payment method.
$4,000, check.
Whisper AI understood you perfectly.
Cool. So it did work. It did fix the timeout that would happen before it would start the voice and then just timeout if I didn't speak right after clicking the button or very shortly after clicking the button. So this is cool. It looks like it's worked there. It also has different color tones or signals through color, the record button, which is cool. So that means that it's communicating to me, the user, what it's doing, and we can kind of talk about that a little bit more. But this is cool. We've gotten this far. It's still not posting the payment. So in a follow-up video, I'm going to talk about how I solved this and what I learned along the way. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.